Hey folks, it's Tom, your Frugal Prepper. So I've had a lot of people ask, like, why aren't you on any of the Carnivore live streams? Why don't any of the doctors want to interview you? Blah, 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 right? And, it's pretty much plain and simple. I don't meet the carnivore narrative anymore. I had a stroke. They don't want to talk to me now. In fact, I have 4 or 5 previous strokes from the MRI. So I've had 6 strokes. And too many people think strokes are caused by eating meat and fat. And they're not. They just don't, I don't think they want to talk to me because it doesn't help build their narrative or their channel or whatever, which is fine. My channel is only partially about my journey on carnivore. The rest of it is fixing cars and gardening and doing other stuff, right? Shooting guns, reloading ammo. It's just about my life. But as far as like, oh, I had a stroke because I was on the carnivore diet. No, I had a stroke because my blood pressure was really high. And so you'll say, I have blockages in my arteries. That's what released a blockage to my brain. Well, since my stroke, I've had an ultrasound done on my neck, a stress test, a nuclear test, an ultrasound done on my heart. I had a CTA scan, which that's thing that they put under your tongue during the CTA scan really gave me the shivers. It made my body temperature drop for some reason. But I did it, and then I had a coronary calcium score done, so my heart's healthy. It's a little enlarged on the left side from the years of high blood pressure, but not exorbitantly enlarged, right? Like it's going to go into heart failure or anything like that. And I have 0 blockages anywhere in my lungs, my heart, my neck. Everything is fine. It's 100% clear. There's nothing there. And the cardiologist said, as far as like your arteries or whatever around your heart, you have the heart of a 20-year-old, but you're a little enlarged on the left side. I have an inverted P wave when I'm like dead at rest. As soon as I stand up and take a few steps, the inverted P wave goes away. Right, and they said that that's not a problem, and I've had that. I've had that for like at least 20 years because they did an EKG at an old doctor's office and said I had that, and I needed to go to the hospital because I might have had a heart attack. And I went through all that, and I went through all the tests then too, and they showed no problems. So, my coronary calcium score came back at a 0. Yeah, my heart's good. That didn't cause my stroke. It wasn't a cholesterol blockage. It was called really high blood pressure, sitting down at work, getting a little blood clot somewhere from not moving, and then getting up, walking into the shop, and doing some real physical labor. And then all of a sudden that blood clot broke loose. It went to my brain, right? And I had a blood pressure spike that day. They took it on the ambulance. It was 280 over something. Took it at the hospital the first time. It was like 310 over something. Then they rushed me down for a CTA, or a CAT scan, to see if it was a bleeding stroke or a regular stroke. And then they took it again. It came back 270 over something. And then I talked to a neurologist through a teleconsult machine, and he's recommended the clot buster. 6% chance I was going to die, but it kept me from becoming a full invalid. So I went for it. I had the clot buster, and the symptoms immediately stopped getting worse. Just immediately after they put that shot in. They didn't get better, but they stopped getting worse. So I spent like 3 days in intensive care in the hospital. I was seeing double. I was blurry. My vision was blurry. I could not keep my balance at all. Anytime I turned my head a little bit to the side, things would just start spinning like crazy. It was a nightmare. I was getting nauseous constantly from all the spinning. But by 3 days, it had gotten to where I could walk with a walker. I made it like 22 feet down the hall, and then back to my room with the walker, and I had like a wheelchair ramp at home to use my walker to get in and out. I had all kinds of, like shower handles and stuff like that, so I could pretty much could manage. So they went ahead and released me to home. I did 3 months of physical therapy, really extreme physical therapy, to learn how to walk, to look to the side while I walk and not lose my balance and fall over, right? To walk backwards, to use my right hand again. And that all went really well. And today I've pretty much made 100% recovery from that last stroke. But they did the MRI and they said, you've had 4 or 5 previous strokes. We can see them in your brain. And I didn't really know it at the time, but I do remember some symptoms from those strokes. So I just didn't realize it was a stroke at the time. And in a month or a month and a half, it just kind of, it went away and I got better, right? I refuse to take a statin because statins are poison. And LDL is actually good for you unless it's broken glycated LDL, but statins don't remove glycated LDL. They don't remove the broken LDL, they only remove the healthy LDL. And in the hospital, I came back at 121 for my LDL. My triglycerides were at 36 at the time. My HDL was like 86. And they wanted to put me on a statin. I said, no, I'm not taking statins. I have a family member who has had a bad reaction to statins, and I'm just not willing to do that. And LDL is healthy. And mine is especially healthy because my triglycerides are so low. They're not glycated. And I was under a lot of stress when you took it like 2 days after I had a stroke. My last LDL came back at 104. I'm getting ready to go in and have it taken again. But yeah, so I was, not taking the statins because statins also cross the blood-brain barrier, which the LDL your liver makes, your brain can't use, but it makes its own LDL. But statins cross that blood-brain barrier and cause your brain not to make statins. And guess what your brain needs? It needs cholesterol, LDL, to form new neurogenic pathways, to teach the new brain cells how to do what the old ones that died did, right? So I didn't do that. But yeah, I don't really meet the carnivore standard anymore. Number one is I had a salad because I was getting really constipated from the blood pressure medicine that they had me on. The nifedipine really constipated me. I mean, painful, serious constipation, right? So I found if I ate a salad every day, in addition to the meat that I ate, I just had me a nice big salad with a really good keto salad dressing that I make myself. And people are like, oh, well, you're not carnivore anymore. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. And that salad helped keep things moving once a day, right? So that it didn't build up in there for 2 or 3 days like normally on a carnivore diet it will. And normally on a carnivore diet, it builds up for 2 or 3 days, but you don't have any problem going when you have to go. But in this case, the nifedipine was sucking the moisture out of it and making it rock hard down there. And it just like, it formed a cork and it wasn't coming out, So I did that for a couple months till I finally got off the nifedipine because it started causing severe sciatic pain. And, disabling sciatic pain. I couldn't get out of bed kind of sciatic pain. And that was the nifedipine. It all, went well. Now today I'm back to pretty much pure carnivore through the week for 6 days, Monday through Saturday, purely carnivore. I just don't eat but once a day. I eat dinner and I usually have chicken thighs or chuck roast fried in bacon grease or on the grill, or the chicken thighs I make on the grill sometimes too. And I just have that with some salt. I put some extra no salt on there get some potassium, just to make sure I have enough potassium, because potassium is supposed to be good for your blood pressure. I don't know. I also take beet chews, which have a little bit of carbohydrate in them, because beet chews are supposed to increase some kind of nitric something that you have to help your blood pressure. I don't know if it helps, but I'm taking 2 of them every day. And I'm taking my blood pressure. My blood pressures have come down to as low as 104, really one day it came back like 88 or something. It got really extra low, and that's when they pulled me off the amlodipine. So now my lowest, since I've been off the amlodipine, my lowest has been 114. My highest has been 205. My normal is like 145 to 155, right? And that's where they want to keep it right now, is below 160, and then just give it time to slowly taper off. I've got a whole filing cabinet drawer full of blood pressure medications that I've tried in the past that haven't worked. My hypertension is extremely resistant. And so they're putting me on medicines now that have even more severe side effects. They dilate my pupils and make me blind for an hour. Like I have to wear extra dark glasses. They cause some muscle pain, muscle weakness. They cause lightheadedness, dizziness. The list goes on, right? And I was on 8, but now without the amlodipine, I'm actually on 7. So, but I'm working at that, and I just don't want it to get high because I don't want to have another stroke. But everything the carnivore diet has done for me is stopped me from going blind and losing my vision. It's caused my diabetic leg ulcer to just completely heal and go away when it didn't heal for years. It would kind of scab over, but it would always still be there, right? It caused my knee replacement that I needed and had an MRI for, and they said I was going to need it, to not need it anymore. My knee feels perfectly normal. I can go walking and ride coasters at Kings Island. My knee doesn't hurt. My butt muscles get a little weak from the blood pressure medicine that I'm on, but my knee don't hurt. The torn rotator cuff I had is completely healed. It hurts no more at all. It used to, about a year and a half ago, it hurt just a little bit sometimes. Now it just doesn't hurt at all. And this is all thanks to a proper human diet. So I'm not really a carnivore person. I'm not out there preaching the carnivore and plants are trying to kill you and never eat another plant, right? I am a proper human diet type of person, and that can include some vegetables. Humans have always eaten some vegetables throughout history. We just haven't ate seed oils and high fructose corn syrup and monosodium glutamates and all this stuff that's in these processed foods, which is what's killing us, right? So we need to stop doing that and just start eating real healthy food. And yes, you can eat some vegetables, but you have to be careful about eating too many like dark leafy greens and stuff like that. Those plants do not want to be eaten. They don't want their leaves picked and chewed on and ate. They want you to eat their seeds from whatever fruit they make, right? But they don't want their leaves eaten. So they're more toxic. That's why potatoes, if you eat a potato leaf, if you eat enough of them, you're going to die. Right? Like I had a groundhog that came and ate a bunch of my potato leaves one year, and I found him dead the next day. Right? Potato leaves don't want to be eaten. The potatoes are fine to eat, but don't eat potato leaves. Well, all plants do that to some extent, right? So when you eat dark leafy greens, you're eating the part of the plant that doesn't really want to be eaten, and it has a lot of oxalates and other toxins in it. So either boil the crap out of that, bake it into mush, which destroys a lot of those toxins, or just avoid those foods and eat things like spaghetti squash that want to be eaten, because you're going to take their seeds and throw them away somewhere else, and it's going to grow new spaghetti squash plants, right? That's why they make spaghetti squash that tastes good to humans, because they want humans to pick them and scrape the seeds out and then cook them and eat them, right? Try to eat things that are ripe and ready to be eaten. But you can definitely eat some vegetables and be a keto or a ketovore or a carnivore. You can live 100% healthily on just beef for the rest of your life, right? You'll get everything you need from it. You'll live and you'll be healthy. But that's kind of boring. I like to have some spaghetti squash with a little Alfredo sauce once in a while that I make myself, and then that's good, right? And I ate salads for a couple months. But I don't match that carnivore narrative anymore that a lot of these channels that do the live streams and the interviews and the talking want to try to promote. It's like they want to, they believe that the carnivore diet has completely healed them and you're not going to have any major problems. And I had a stroke and I'm kicked out of the club. And that's fine, because my channel, like I said, is about fixing cars, about reloading, about shooting guns, about gardening, about fixing lawnmowers. It's about everything, right? It's just about my life. And my life is full, and I'm good at fixing stuff, and I have 100% recovered from my stroke, most because of my mostly carnivore diet. And I'm happy. I'm happy to go. I think that the fact that I've had 4 or 5 strokes and I can still go to Kings Island and walk around and ride coasters for an entire day is amazing. A lot of people have 1 stroke and they never ever recover from it because they're taking statins and listening to their neurologists. But, you know, I've had a complete recovery. That it might be that my stroke wasn't as bad as some people's strokes. And I don't know, right? I imagine I got in there, I got the clot buster on board with about 20 minutes, but within a half hour for sure, you know, and so a lot of people might not know that they're having a stroke or whatever. It might take them more time to get into the hospital and get treatment for it, so it might be worse. A lot of strokes are leaky blood in your brain, not a clot. That might be worse as well. But I'm pretty happy that I've had 5 to 6 strokes, 4 to 5 previous strokes, you know, and I'm doing as well as I am. I'm really happy that I can drive again, I can work again, I can provide for my family, I can go and have fun with my family. So that's, oh, hit the tripod there. That's just where I am. As far as the carnivore, you know, doctors and stuff, I think Dr. Kim Berry is about the best and makes the most sense. Sean Baker, it makes a lot of sense too, right? If you're wanting to do more meat, follow him. But you know, I try to eat low carb, healthy stuff, and I am losing weight again on the 1 meal a day, and my blood pressure is starting to go down from losing that weight. I lost like 6 or 7 pounds last week. You know, it just depends on where you want to round it off at, whether it was 6 or 7. So I'm happy with that. The 1 meal a day thing's working. I'm just going to lose the rest of this belly fat and see if my blood pressure comes under control, because that's the last thing. The last thing of all the incredible health problems I had, of barely being able to get out of bed and get a cup of coffee, and then barely being able to walk into my desk at work, right? My back pain, leg pain, I was out of breath, I just felt like crap, I barely made it in there, and then I had to go out for lunch. Walk to my car. Yeah, I had to come back from lunch, which is even worse, because then you're full from the pizza bar. And then I had to walk out there to get home. I managed to walk out and get home faster than getting in, but you know, it is what it is. Just as crappy as I felt, and nowadays I get up and sometimes like, yeah, I want to go take a couple walks around the block before I even have a cup of coffee or anything, and I'm off the caffeine now, so it's decaf coffee anyway. Before I even do anything, I just go pee, wash my hands, and I'm like, I want to take a walk. Let me put my shoes on. I go take a walk, right? That's amazing. I never could do that before. So yeah, it does work. And as far as the American Heart Association and the American Cancer Society and all those people, just don't listen to their stupid crap. They're all wrong. They're all making lots of money from companies that make sugary foods and pharmaceutical companies that make these medicines for taking all the sugary foods. They're part of the problem. They're not part of the solution. So anyway, this video has gone on long enough. I will talk to you all later. Leave a comment down below if like keto or carnivore has worked for you. If you have any questions about carnivore, any questions about my stroke and what I went through, anything like that, leave the comments down below. I always read the comments. I almost always reply to any questions. And I usually give every comment a love. So Even if you think that if you're vegan and you think carnivore is dangerous and dumb, leave me a comment. Tell me. I'm willing to have a good discussion with you about it, and we can debate it. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. This is Tom, your Frugal Prepper.